And this week on Colonial Sports Center, men's hockey continues to struggle here late in the regular season, and hopefully they can get their ways turned around against Mercyhurst.
And the women's basketball team has been doing well this season, and Megan Callahan is in studio to discuss just how things have been going.
All of this and more coming up on Colonial Sports Center. And welcome to this week's episode of Colonial Sports Center. As always, I'm Greg Sutton, alongside me, my friendly companion, David Szymanski. And David, why don't you just start it off with tonight?
Yeah, last week we talked a lot about the spring sports getting started. We had lacrosse getting started, but now the winter sports seasons are really fighting for seeding and conference play, and things are getting exciting. So we're going to talk a lot about the basketball teams and hockey teams tonight.
And as you said there at the beginning of the show, Megan Callahan's in studio tonight to sit down with our very own Luke Yost to kind of talk about how she ended up at Robert Morris, her freshman season, and how she thinks they're going to progress into the postseason.
Right, but before we get to women's basketball, the men's basketball team had a huge game tonight, nationally televised to CBS Sports Network, and where was that at?
They were done in Emmitsburg, Maryland, on the road at Mount St. Mary's down in Maryland. They were just trying to see if they could get back to their winning ways they had earlier in the season, right before NEC tournament play starts, David. And so let's jump into that recap real quick and see how the Colonials did tonight. And as we see here, the Mountaineers were able to take down the Colonials 72-53. Deshawn Burke and Maddie McConnell. Deshawn Burke had 16 points with 6 assists. Maddie McConnell had 14 points and 3 rebounds. While on the other side of the court for Mount St. Mary's, Chris Ray had 16 points and 4 rebounds. And the Robert Morris Colonials were able to hold Junior Robinson to just 11 points and 8 assists on the night. Hopefully the Colonials can turn things around, like I said, before NEC tournament play starts.
The Robert Morris men's basketball team headed into the game this past weekend against CCSU, battling for position in the Northeast Conference Tournament. It was their last home game of the season, and thus it was senior night. However, the Colonials are one of the youngest teams in the country, and we're only graduating Ronnie Gambe, the fifth-year transfer, who has played a pivotal role in the Colonial season this year, lacking depth at the big man position. And CCSU's getting off to a good start here. It's at the Kane Stadium. I know it's senior night, but the Colonials have been bouncing around at home arenas all season due to the new stadium coming in, Greg.
It's definitely going to be an exciting thing for that to open and then be able to come back home and play.
And a big hustle play there by Maddie McConnell, who looked like he really wanted to win this game, but the effort all around by the Colonials tonight just didn't look great. Although you're going to see Leandre Washington, who didn't play tonight, knock down a big three right there, trying to keep the Colonials in the game. And you can see, Greg, it was a close game tied up, but Tyler Cole for CCSU could not be stopped. I was at the game, and he was a delight to watch. And right here, the Colonials are going to give it their one last shot. They're down by 6, but they get a big steal. Deshawn gets a big slam, but it's not going to be enough on senior night. A disappointing end to the home season for the Colonials, but it was another bright performance by sophomore guard Deshawn Burke, who was the only player for the Colonials in double digits with 24 points. As the Colonials move forward, they are guaranteed a spot in the conference tournament, but seeding has yet to be determined.
And after dropping their past 2 games against RIT at home in the Colonial Arena, the Colonials were hoping to bounce back and grab a couple of points during the home and away series against Mercyhurst Lakers. Let's go to the game at Colonials Arena to see how RMU started off their weekend. First thing we're going to see here is a goal by Brian Sinnerith, his 4th goal in a row, or 4th game in a row with a point for the Lakers. Big turnover there in the defensive zone for the Colonials. Good passing by the Lakers, off back-to-back from the point, and a big rebound, glove down, and put in by Derek Barrick. Barrick and Zach Todds, that was both their second point of the game. Todds with the assist and Barrick with the goal. And now we're going to see a big stop with Brady Ferguson crossing the net. And Michael Loria, we're going to see him. Colonials starting to cycle the puck a little bit. Big shot there. Loria with a tip-in goal, tied for 3rd highest goals in this season on the team. And the big last one here is a save by Francis Morant. The Colonials not able to hold off the Lakers as they dropped the first game at home 2-1 in the weekend. Like I said, Michael Loria with a goal with 6 shots and Sean Giles with 1 assist. Derek Barrick with 1 goal and Zach Todd with 2 assists. Each of them have 2 points on the night, with their goalie having 26 saves and the win under his belt.
We all know how these hockey series work. 1 weekend means 2 games. If the first game gives a loss, it gives you a chance at revenge, and that's exactly what the Colonials were looking for in the second matchup with Mercyhurst, which proved to be a very close game, as close as a game can come. It took 3 periods plus an overtime for Mercyhurst to defeat the Colonials. They came out on top 3-2. Goals were scored by Luke Lynch and Robert Powers. The most telling stat of the game was the Colonials outshooting Mercyhurst 39 shots to 26, a remarkable performance by goaltender Brandon Wildown for Mercyhurst. After this game, the Colonials fell a bit in the AHC standings. As we can see right here, they drop all the way to 6th, Greg, and they stand at 12, 12, and 2 in conference play.
And the big story here, David, is RIT. They were in 9th place whenever the Colonials played against them last weekend, and now they're clear up above Robert Morris, sitting pretty in 4th place with 27 points.
And you can see, I mean, Robert Morris is certainly talented. They played Mercyhurst hard, who is atop the standings right there. So they're talented, but it's so tight in the standings right there.
Yeah, and after beating Bellarmine by the tally of 15-7 on the road, the men's lacrosse team returned home to play Georgetown on home turf at Joe Walton Stadium in Moon Township. Well, let's go down to the snowy Joe Walton Stadium to find out if the Colonials could take down the Goyas of Georgetown. First thing we're going to see here is Robert Morris working really well down low, and a big wraparound goal by Jimmy Perkins, which is his 10th point in just the young season this year with 3 games under their belts. Into the second quarter here, it's still starting to fall there.
Wow.
That could probably play a little bit of a factor here in the game. But Robert Morris still moving the ball around very well there into the middle there. Big long shot there by Matt Schmidt. And so that snow, David, with turf, it can get real slippery.
Yeah, look at that.
It's amazing that the teams were able to play so well through it. Another goal there by Matt Schmidt, his second of the night, and his 20th career in a Georgetown uniform. And now we're going to jump into the final quarter of play here with Georgetown with the ball and working around the outside. And a jumping shot, which goes in by Daniel Bucaro, and he started in all 30 of his games in a jersey in the NCAA. The game was close, cleared down to the wire, but when the end of the fourth quarter came around, Georgetown was the team that came out on top with a total of 12 goals, where Robert Morris came in at the end with 11. Matt Schmidt and Jimmy Perkins both had 3 goals on the night for Robert Morris, and Daniel Bucaro and Jimmy Caraway both ended with 4 goals for Georgetown. RMU is back in action Saturday against Penn State. And when we come back, Dave, we have a lot more to talk about.
Right, we have the women's basketball team who took on Sacred Heart and Fairleigh Dickinson.
And later in the show, we're also going to get to sit down with Megan Callahan and talk about her career at Robert Morris and what they're expecting in NCAA play. You're going to want to come back after this break.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average 4-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Here at Robert Morris University, we pride ourselves at the experience that our students gain while they're actively learning in the classroom. Some even come back to share that knowledge with new students.
I never dreamed that I'd be back here. I'm having so much fun. I'm doing a lot of what I was trained to do and what I went to school for.
The Colonial Sports Network is a great opportunity for students to learn real job skills in sports programming.
To be able to see what the students want to make of it, because it can be anything that they want.
I love being here, seeing students, seeing myself in the students that work with me, and I'm really blessed to have so much talent to work with. It's really amazing.
To be able to see students become successful after Robert Morris is really cool.
Join the Colonial Sports Network team and expand your future today.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
And welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. David, let's not waste any time here. Let's jump right back into these winter sports. And why don't you take it away real quick?
Well, early on, it looked like the Colonials would breeze right through the NEC regular season and into the playoffs as the 1 seed. Their loss to St. Francis Brooklyn had the team and fans rethinking things heading into the contest against Fairleigh Dickinson. But this game reassured fans just how good this team really is. So we head out to the North Athletic Complex, where the women this season are 11-2 at home, a phenomenal record, and it's their first year playing there, Greg. And it looks like a great court. They're playing great there, and it's got to be nice if they can get that home court advantage and be at this court. I like their chances for the NEC. And right here, you're going to see them pull up, big three, and the Colonials are going into the third. They don't have a great lead, but Augustine right there knocks down the mid-range two, giving them a pretty good chance to win this game. And they ultimately do walk away from this game with a win, improving their home record, which has been so big for them all year. And here in the third, they're down by 4, and it was a big shot there. But heading into the fourth, you see Colonials take a 2-point lead, and they're going to get another bucket right there to start to run away with the game. The win gave the Colonials a sweep over Fairleigh Dickinson for the season. Leading the way was Ikamatsu with 12 points. Also in double figures were Moraine and Augustine with 10 points apiece.
In this past Monday, the Colonials tipped off against the Pioneers of Sacred Heart after their past 5-game record of 3 wins and 2 losses. Robert Morris was looking to start off their last 5 of their regular season games with a win. To the North Athletic Complex Rec Center to see how the Colonials fared against the Pioneers. First thing we're going to see here is Ikamatsu kind of ball handling around the point. Ultimately, we're going to see a 3 by Nina Augustin, who went 1,000 from the 3-point arc, even though she only shot 1 for 1. And the second thing we're going to see here is work down low by Megan Smith. But we're going to jump into the next one, and we're going to see the Colonials just absolutely pounding in the paint, working hard, but also being able to shoot the 3-ball from outside the arc.
That's what they do so well. They attack you both ways.
And somebody that did really well from the arc this game was Megan Callahan. She went 6 for 10, which is an amazing stat, 60% from the arc for a night. Here we're going to see another one of her many threes. And this last 10-15 seconds of this is just Megan Callahan pounding the ball into the net. And the Colonials were able to walk away from the game against the Pioneers with a score of 60-49. Megan Callahan kind of leading the way there with 17 points. And with the regular season almost over, with the win over Sacred Heart by the score of 60-49, Michaela Mulrain tallied 13 points on her own and went 4 from 4 from the field and 5 of 6 from the foul line. Megan Callahan went 5 of 8 from 3 and 3-point land and finished the night with 17 points of her own. And now we're going to jump into these NEC women's basketball standings. And as we can see, we have a tie for first place between St. Francis and Robert Morris, both standing 12-2, and they both have a win over each other this season.
I know, it's important, the home court. We were talking about that earlier. It's going to be important. We're going to see how the rest of the season unfolds. They both have to take care of business, and then we'll see how the tiebreaker shapes up.
And the end of the season is definitely going to be an important part to see which team gets the home court advantage there in the first couple rounds.
But regardless, I think that they're going to end up playing each other. So.
It's pretty inevitable at this point, David.
The women's basketball team is coming off of 2 straight Northeast Conference titles, but this year's team is full of new faces. The team looks different, but is playing as good as ever. One big reason for their success this season has been freshman Megan Callahan, who is in studio to discuss her season with Luke Yost. Here's a little preview of the interview.
Thanks, David. Megan, what brought you to Robert Morris?
The recruiting process is so interesting and so fun. And when Robert Morris first started to look at me, I really got to see what the school was like. When I first came on my visit here, I fell in love with the campus, and I was not only able to meet the coaches, but also the players. And I really fell in love with the family culture that Coach B has here.
How did you find Robert Morris?
Like I said, the recruiting process is so fun, and just playing basketball everywhere in the United States, in Chicago, D.C., that's when Robert Morris first started to look at me and see me as a player.
And what other schools recruited you?
Actually, St. Francis of PA was a school that I was looking at. High Point, Youngstown State, which is close by, just schools around the area and it's close by.
Now back to the desk.
And thank you, Luke. There's definitely more of that to come later in the show. But Robert Morris has won 5 of the past 6 games, with the one game ending in a draw between RMU and Penn State. The women were looking to defeat Mercyhurst for the second time this season on the road, 3 games away from the CHA tournament. Now to Erie, Pennsylvania to see how the Colonials did in the 3rd matchup of the season. The Lakers of Mercyhurst flooded the Colonials on the scoreboard, winning the first game of the weekend 2-0. Maggie Naught and Samantha Felser both had a goal and an assist on the night and ended the night with 2 points each. On Robert Morris's side of the ice, senior Elijah Millen-Price broke the women's hockey program record with not allowing a goal in 180 minutes of continuous play. The previous record holder was ex-Olympic goalie Brianne McLaughlin.
While the men's hockey team was swept by Mercyhurst, the women were not going to go down easy despite being shut out in the first game. They split a series earlier this season and they had confidence heading into this one. Let's go out to Erie, Pennsylvania to see if the women could get the dub. And here we go to the ice, and right here, the Colonials are going to try to get things off early, but they're not going to be able to find the back of the net right there. Heading into the second period, Greg still scoreless, but J.C. Gebhard gets the goal right there. A great shot. She goes top right to put them up 1-0. And like I said, they came to play here. One of the best teams on campus. Another goal by J.C. Gebhard. That's 2 goals, and it is 2-0. Colonials heading into the third period, where Mercyhurst is going to try on their home ice to get some momentum going, and they do. They get it past one of the best goaltenders in the conference. But Brittany Howard, one of the greatest players in Robert Morris hockey history, puts us up 3-1 right there and basically ends the game, even though Mercyhurst will add one more goal. Leading the way for the Colonials in scoring in this tight contest was J.C. Gebhard and Brittany Howard. But most impressive may have been Elijah Milne-Price, only allowing 2 goals despite there being 33 shots. A great win for a team has them looking good in the CHA standings, and first place is pretty good, Greg, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Robert Morris has 27 points and is sitting top of the standings here, and that just shows how hard they've been working all season from everybody in the lineup, not just J.C. Gebhard or Brittany Howard. Everybody on that team has been contributing, from freshmen to seniors to sophomores to juniors.
And the goaltending's been great, and look at just how big that game was against Mercyhurst. I mean, that was for first place.
It was, and Robert Morris definitely took advantage of the chance there and kind of put themselves in a great position going into the postseason.
It was, and you got to see a little bit of the preview earlier of the interview that we're going to have with Megan Callahan with Luke Yost.
Yeah, and you're definitely not going to want to miss it.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Smokey! Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm Luke Yost, and welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. I am joined by the reigning NEC Rookie of the Week, Megan Callahan. Your performance this season has currently had you in the conversation of Rookie of the Year. What's it been like for your success?
Really just being a student of the game, listening to what the coaches have to say, and fixing everything that they ask me to fix and working my best, whether I improve in a day or I improve in a couple weeks, something that just keep working on whatever you have to do and being a student of the game.
With 7 international players on the team, what is it like for you to play with so many different cultures?
It's actually really fun. I love being with all the other girls from Spain, Finland, Japan, It's really interesting to see their cultures and see how we all click together, and it's crazy how they can be from across the world and we can still click so good on the court.
What is it like to mix all of these styles of play together?
It's definitely interesting learning that some girls have different rules, and I know Spain, they had different rules than they have here, and European style is different. So I think it's really cool that they can just come here and we can all play together, and they can be learning new things, and I can be learning things about them as well.
How have you been able to help some of the international freshmen adjust to coming to the brand new country while also combating being a student athlete?
That was definitely like something that was really hard for me at first, but then just being able to like teach them almost, they had to learn English at some point, so that was fun. Teaching them things that they didn't know, helping them around school with schoolwork, everything like that is just so interesting, and I love it.
One of the freshmen you play alongside is Hanoka Ikamatsu, who has developed into one of the best shooters in the nation. What's it like playing alongside her?
I love Hanoka. She's also my roommate, so she's so hardworking, like on and off the court. If she's not in the gym, she's in the library studying, so it's just crazy. Like, she's taught me so many things off the court and on the court, and she's an incredibly hardworking person, and I admire her every day.
Which upperclassman has been the biggest influence for you this season?
That's a really hard question. All the upperclassmen have taught me so many things this year. I think two girls I can definitely point out, Kima Dashel and Nia Adams, who have been not playing a lot this season, but it's really inspirational to see them like still be so wanting to teach us, wanting to help us every second, and knowing that they can't step on the court. It really makes you like be happy that you're able to step on the court every day and really value every moment that you get, because you never know what's going to happen.
The team has suffered a couple of setbacks recently. You guys lost to St. Francis and St. Francis Brooklyn. What has the team done to stay motivated in these times of adversity?
Coach B really teaches us how to win games and lose games. It's not always about winning, but it's about the learning experience. So we've really taken out of those two games what we can learn from it. We watched the video, so we were able to see the mistakes that we made throughout the games, and that's really helped us develop, and I think those losses will even help us in the future.
What are some of the lessons you've learned from those losses?
I think, we gotta see like energy is a big thing. Just working together as a team, and pushing through adversity. In those games, there's a lot of adverse moments that we need to push through, and I think we definitely learned from those experiences.
And with so many talented players, That's been the interview today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And back to Greg and David on the desk.
That was a great interview by Luke Yost of Megan Callahan. It was a really insightful look at the women's basketball team. But we're going to go from the winter sports over to the spring sports. And the women's lacrosse team took the field for the second time this season in downtown Pittsburgh against city rival Duquesne. After losing their first game of the year in double overtime, they were looking for their first win of the season. It was a slow start for both teams, but things got interesting in the second half. There were 15 goals scored in that second half, and the Colonials had 8 of them, which led them to a win 10-9. Megan Krause had a hat trick with 3 goals on 3 shots. Certainly a great performance for her early in the season, and a great performance by the team taking down a city rival.
And after a tough tournament at Cleveland State the weekend before, losing all 4 games that they played in, Robert Morris softball looked south as they traveled to South Carolina to play in the Coastal Carolina tournament. The Colonials would play a total of 5 games over a course of 3 days. They played teams such as Coastal Carolina, Kent State, Connecticut, Lafayette, and Rider. And with all of those games taking part, it was a tight weekend. They won 3 of the 4 matchups, losing the biggest to the host of the tournament, Coastal Carolina, with a score of 14-0.
Other than that, though, they look good. Only a 1-run loss to Connecticut. They could have gone 4-1, and Coastal Carolina's pretty good.
They are pretty good. And they only played 5 innings against Coastal Carolina, where the mercy rule came into effect. And that one game, that 1-run game there, the last game of the tournament there on that past Sunday, 1 run. Fatigue may have played a little bit of role in that. But they also beat Kent State, which I would consider a pretty good baseball and softball school, by a score of 3-2. They played all 7 innings in all of those games, except for the one against Coastal Carolina, where they only finished with 5 innings played in the series. So with this compared to last weekend, I was a little worried.
It's a lot better. It's a lot better. The team is looking a lot better. They got some new coaches, and they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just a great outlook for the team after that first tournament, kind of showing everybody that they're more than what they looked like there, and they can kind of hang with the big dogs. Maybe not Coastal Carolina right away this early in the season, but maybe or as people such as Kent State, who have a good reputation for this kind of sport.
Right, and we're going to get to see what they're going to have coming up in their schedule, as well as some of the other teams coming up next when we've got upcoming games.
These hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center, and we've got a lot of teams underway. We've got the winter sports, we've got the spring sports, also. We've got to look at what games are coming up here.
And honestly, this is my favorite part of the episode. I get to see what's coming up. This weekend, men's hockey, do or die time versus Air Force here at home, down on the island. That's a big matchup this weekend. Either they go into the postseason with some wins, or they're kind of left out to dry,
right,
as I would say, with the season.
Right, and as big as of a hockey fan as you are for Robert Morris, you know me with basketball and men's. They have a big game. They're on the road again at St. Francis. I didn't get to see all of the results from the NEC, but I know that that's going to be a big game regardless, so we're going to have to keep our eye out for that. But Greg, also, we've got the lacrosse teams in action. They're in out-of-conference play. Look at that game. Men's lacrosse at Penn State. It's a noon game. That's big.
Yeah, but another big thing here on Colonial Sports Center is a new thing we have. It's called RMU, the week that was.
And what a week it was. I love that segment. It just compiles everything that the teams did all week, and you never know what plays are going to be made and who they're going to be made by. Lots of spectacular plays.
And it's just exciting to watch as an analyst and a student here at Robert Morris, especially those 2 big blocks in there by Ronnie Gombe.
Yeah,
those were amazing.
It was senior night, and I'm glad he got to go off on that note because he's been so big for the team. He's been so big for the community, going to grad school. Very impressive.
And on part of everybody here at Colonial Sports Center, I would like everybody like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And David, why don't you send us home?
We're going to see you guys next week.